Hello, and we're live. Sorry for the delay. My name is Tanisha, and I'm the host of the Let's Talk About It series. For those who are new here, this is a series that was started 3 years ago. Eric, believe it or not, it's 3 years now. We
Yeah.
have been doing this series where Eric and myself we come together and we talk about different things happening in life. And today on the series, we're talking about seasons of transition. A lot of people are going through transitional phases in their lives, and we just want to talk about it. Again, my
Mm.
name is Tanisha. I'm the host of the Let's Talk About It series, and I have my co-host, the co-host with the most, Eric. Eric, introduce yourself to the folks so we can get it started.
Right. It's just awesome and exciting to be here once again. I mean, like Tanisha mentioned, my name is Eric. I'm in Boston, Massachusetts. But thank God for technology. We're able to do this wonderfully. Oh, yeah, yeah,
Okay, awesome. And we're about digital entrepreneurs.
exactly.
I'm a mom of two. I'm in Canada here. I was born in Jamaica and now
Mm,
live in Canada. And as Eric mentioned, he's all the way in the States, and we met through our online business. So,
exactly.
Eric, the reason why I even want us to talk about, let's just go into it quickly. We want to
Right,
talk about seasons of transition
right.
because what I find for myself personally, I was going through a transition when I founded
Mm,
this business.
mm,
But for different people, there's transition, whether graduation, having a child, whatever. How do you think, or what tools or tips you have as a pastor for
mm,
people who are going through a transition and phase in their life that is
mm.
not the best right
Right,
now? How
right.
can you encourage someone regarding that?
Oh, that's awesome. That's really awesome. And thank you so much for the opportunity and thank you so much for the question. Now, basically, we all need to understand that life is all about transitions, right? There are seasons and there are times, and everything about life is tied up to a season or a time. Therefore, one transition always moves to the so life is all about transition. Now,
Yes.
there are good seasons and there are seasons not so pleasant. So when
Mhm.
you are in that transition where it's not so pleasant, one of the first thing I would say that if you're a Christian, I would say just keep believing. That's the first thing I want to say. Just keep holding and know that there is the Bible says that in his own time he makes all things beautiful. And so,
Amen.
first of all, I would say that know that there is a greater being that is in charge. And therefore, at any season that you are in, it is all working together for your good. Therefore, I would say that number one, you must keep believing. Number two, you must keeping on. You know, Thomas Edison says that one of our greatest weaknesses in life is giving up so soon. But for us to succeed, that we must always try one more time.
Time. Yes.
Okay. So if you are in transition, if you are in transition and it's not so good to your expectations and you're getting frustrated, I want to say try
One
one
more time.
more time. Try one more time. Yep,
Wow, that's so good. You said people, I guess it's our human nature to quit. When
I know.
things get too hard and we're forced out of our comfort zone, the
Yeah.
first thing we want to do is to quit. And I just think that's what in us, but to find that extra push that
Mm,
says, you know what, I still believe I
mm,
can get to point B, but I
mm,
first need to push past the pain that I'm
mm,
experiencing right now
mm,
at point A, right?
mm,
So it is so important to just keep moving.
mm.
So Eric, as we're talking about seasons of transition, how how did you know you were in a season of transition when you found this online business?
Well, yeah, that's a very interesting and a little, So I found this business during the period of the pandemic, right? And that was a time that almost everybody was very uncertain of what is happening next. And it was a kind of a transition for me because, but then I brought my family from Africa. We're here, and all of a sudden there's this pandemic that hit. We're not sure what happened, and therefore.
Sorry, I have a baby boy here.
That's great. That's great. I think that we have somebody to cheer us up. It's wonderful. So it was during that period. It was during that period that I came across this business.
Yes.
It was during this period that I came across this business, and I decided to try it one more time, and see how that can be of a support to myself.
Sorry, 1 second. I have a 3-year-old and he's making pretend lemonade and he's singing a lemonade song. So, so it's coming in the song. Nathan, Joshua.
Yeah. Let him flow.
Let him enjoy himself.
Yeah.
So,
We are family, so no, everybody knows that we have kids at home. And all. Yeah.
but he's droning me out. But anywho's,
Yeah.
so for me, I was in a season of transition when I found this business as well. It
Yeah.
was during the pandemic, but not just that. I was at home on maternity leave, right? So it was two transition I had to face when I
Right.
found this business. And initially, when you stated that quote is about keep pushing, and I had some personal things going on at the same time as well. But for me, I knew I needed a shift because I spent a year with my son. It was about 3 months after he was born. I found this business,
Mm.
and I'm like, I could get used to this staying at home life.
I know.
I
Yeah.
was I was
Yeah.
gardening.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to see the flowers. I was doing everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is good because I had a transition or a season of just stopping.
Yeah.
And when I stopped, that's when I saw things clearer that I was too busy to see, right? So again, I was in that season of transition.
Yeah.
So Eric, we're 3 years in our business. 3 years is amazing. And a business has different flows, highs and lows. And one of the misconception I find with people when you talk about an online business is that they're thinking an online business means you don't have to do anything. It just does it for you. And while our system does 90% of the work for you, there's that 10 piece, right? That 10% of human effort. So Eric, 3 years in, can you just briefly touch on some of the transition you have had in your online business to let people know that this is a real business, real people with different highs and lows of life? What are some of the transitional phases you have gone through in your business and how you were able to come back and now take it by storm?
Exactly. So like I said earlier, life is all about transition. And for every time and phase of our life, we transition, from one thing to the other. And for a business like ours, for example, when you have a business also have their own phases and their own transitions. So it is important for you to understand and to identify that it also, just like in life, in business, there are transitions and transitional periods. So you have a phase one, a phase two, a phase three, you move into a certain period. And the same way in our business. I remember, this business, I found this business during the pandemic. And in the pandemic, a lot of things have shut down. Everybody was, home. People were not so sure what to do. And so the next thing, everybody was online, trying to find something to do. And so the focus was online, and the focus is still online, but it's also very important for us to understand that every business grows, and before it grows, it goes through processes. You begin here, you need to put in the effort so that you can move to the next level, you can move to the next level. That has been the story of my business. I remember the first year it was even though it was booming. I remember I started and it was just rising. and then things, begin to plateau. Things begin to kind of plateau. And when it does that, the next thing you need to do is to look for fresh ideas. Right, you need to look for fresh ideas. You need to connect with other business partners. You need to, get involved. Like in our business, we have masterminds, that we have certain days in a week. You are connected to the masterminds, and there are always fresh ideas, and people share their experiences and all that. And so for me, that was one of the areas that I drew strength from, to be able to, rise again by listening to the stories, by listening to the other success stories success stories of other people, and that drawing inspirations and also picking ideas from here and there for me to get up again. Yeah. So basically, that's how, yeah, in my transition, I got up. Yeah.
And I like how you touched on the fact that it's not a perfect business and nothing is perfect. So we have highs and low. And for me, sometimes the personal aspect of it and just feeling burned out, because I do still have my 9 to 5 and it requires a lot.
I
And
know.
as a mother with 2 sons, right, with the baby when he's not feeling well, that's added stress on me while I work. Example, 2 days last week, I had to
Mm,
stay home working because he
yeah.
was not feeling well.
Yeah.
Therefore, he was very clingy,
Mm,
right? And I was had my assignments I had to get done, tight
yeah.
deadline, and I had a baby cradling, right, while I tried to do my work.
Yeah.
So life is all about transition, the highs and the lows of it, right?
Yeah.
But it's about not quitting and just going to the next level. So for
Exactly.
me in my business, again, you mentioned staying plugged in. Even though I'm an accountant, I didn't have experience with marketing,
Mm,
right? And that's what this business is. It's a digital marketing,
exactly.
right? Where you're finding people who are always online looking for side hustles or how to make money online. But what I love about this business though, is not just a side hustle.
Exactly.
Because when you think about side hustles, you're thinking about selling pots and pans and candles and those
Mm,
small stuff to
mm,
make a hundred, $200 extra. But
mm,
we're talking about a big, full blown business,
exactly.
right? Where we
Exactly.
have seen people paid off mortgages, we have seen people bought their dream home,
Exactly.
vacation, helping families and friends. So really, life is about transition,
Mm,
and we have to just keep going.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay, and just remaining plugged in. All right,
Very
Eric.
big bucket. Yeah.
So, what would you say to someone now who have been sitting on the fence
Mm,
since you started your business 3 years
mm,
ago, and
yeah.
even myself 3 years ago?
Yeah.
What advice do you have for someone who they know they're in a season of transition because the things that they used to put up with before, whether it be in the office,
Mm,
whether it be in family situation with their landlord, whatever, the things that they used to put up with before, right now it grinds their gears, meaning that they have had enough,
enough of it. Yeah.
but yet they're too timid to move forward.
Mm,
Even if it's not with this business, they know that there's a change that needs to happen, but they're still just so timid. What advice do you have for someone like that that's watching this video now or in the replay later?
well, so what I would say is that, you know you cannot remain where you are without making a change, and also have expectation for a change. In other
Mhm.
words, if you don't do something, nothing changes. Right. Now we all in one time or the other get discouraged about certain the endeavors that we get into, and therefore, if you want to handle life that way, you always become static. In other words, you cannot move forward.
Mhm.
Right. So if you are that kind of person and you have been sitting on the fence for all this while, I will say to you that doing nothing will change nothing or will bring nothing. Therefore, doing something and even failing is an attempt to gain some experience.
Yes.
And also it gives you the opportunity to know that at least you attempted and it did not work. And so if you're sitting on the fence, I will indulge, you know, that hey, it is about time that you sit up and begin to look at things from a different perspective. Because the Bible says that as a man thinketh, so he or she is. And so if you continue to remain in that mindset, you will always remain static and remain where you are. And so I will say to you that hey, look, you've been waiting for all this while, nothing has changed. Why don't you do something different and see if that can bring that change that you've been looking for? So basically, that's what I would say to that person.
Well, basically do something,
Yes,
right? I love
exactly.
what they said. Do something. Even if you have failed, you have gained experience.
Exactly.
I love the idea about failing forward. You
Yes,
walk, you fall, you fail, but you get back up and you move forward. So
exactly.
now you know, okay, don't walk on the right side, just go a little to the left because you're going to fall down. So it's about failing forward and
Mm,
getting up and then making the most of the lessons you have learned.
yeah.
You touch about basically greatness, and I love that this quote. I never forget it. I love it.
Hmm.
I heard it from a pastor at my church in 2020 or 2021. He said, greatness is not for the timid and the faint of heart.
Mm,
Greatness is reserved for the ones who are bold enough to walk into the possibilities that God has presented to them.
yes.
Bishop Robert Francis, like, wow.
Wow, wow. That's a beautiful.
And in this business, I meet people online all the time, and they would inquire about the business because they know they need a financial transition, they need
Mm,
a financial change.
yeah.
But the moment they hear that, oh, they have to spend money because it's
Mm,
a business, it's not a job. Even with a job, you have to spend money to buy gas, you have to spend
exactly.
money to take the train to work.
Exactly.
So everything in life costs money.
Exactly.
So when they hear that, they're like, no, it's not for me. And then I have to say, be realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Everything in life costs money.
Exactly.
Business, this is not a job, it is a business.
It is.
And therefore, yes, it requires
Mm,
human ability or capacity or capital, but also money, capital as well.
exactly. Yep.
Someone said something that shocked me, and I didn't understand. I was so floored by her response. She said to me, she said that I am, I know I need a financial shift,
Mm,
but she said to me, I just don't think it is right for me to pay money to start a business.
I think that it's a bunch of what do you call it? Ignorance to think that way. Because it's just about the principle of a life. Yeah, it's what you put in is what you get. So if you're going to get into business, obviously you need some basic capital. You need something to invest, to reap. That's interesting. I mean, I've never heard this before. Come on.
That's why I said that. I was so shocked. And she said she doesn't believe God is telling her that this is the right opportunity for her because she doesn't see why she needs to put money in anything to get money out of it.
It's unfortunate that she's going to wait forever.
With that mindset, exactly with that
Yeah,
mindset.
yeah.
And I said, wow. Oh, and I was saying to her, like the great guys, like look at Bill Gates, look at um and I gave her some other guys. I'm like, these people, they failed forward, they failed, and they got up and they're now great people.
Yeah.
So then really greatness is not for the timid and
It's
the
not.
faint-hearted.
Correct. Yeah.
Greatness is reserved for the ones who are bold enough to
Exactly.
walk into the possibilities that
Exactly.
God has presented to them.
Exactly.
So before we wrap it up, I just also
Right.
want to say
Mm.
there's a difference between those who see there's a difference between seeing opportunity and seizing opportunity.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Yeah.
Because I
Seeing it and
realize,
seizing it. Yeah. Sure.
yes, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, they see it, but they don't grab a hold of it.
Exactly.
And therefore it passed them by. My little person say hi.
Hey, how are you, girl?
It's Nate. It's a boy. It's Nathan. It's here.
Oh, hey,
It's,
Nate. How are you?
it's here very long. All right, Nathan, calm it down. So, life is about change, and money is a part of that as well.
Exactly. Now, let me quickly say this. Now, if you fail to transition in life, right, you become stagnant and you remain obsolete. If you fail to act to transition, you become stagnant, and then eventually you become obsolete. And so it's amazing how people carry this mindset that, hey, I want to be here, and you don't want to change, and you expect things to change. No, it will not. You definitely have to move. You definitely have to push. You definitely have to step in, because like you said, it is one thing seeing an opportunity, and it is another thing also seizing the opportunity. You can see it, you can look at it, you can sit by it, but if you don't seize it, it will not manifest. It
So
will not
true.
change. Yeah.
Jamar Francis here. Sorry, he's watching. Thank you for watching. He says, well, some persons don't bond with the gifts they are, the gifts, so they are to understand. So we have to teach each other, like what you're doing right now.
Exactly.
Basically saying some people don't even know what is inside of them.
Exactly.
And I think that these go live, as we continue to do them, Eric, it will enlighten a lot of people.
Exactly.
To let them know that really nothing happens if nothing happens. And in order for something to happen, you need to do something about it. I have a quote for myself here. I said, a dream is not effective until it is activated.
That is so true. That is so
true. And that's from me. I felt that in my gut, in my soul. And that's and I think that sums it up, really. A dream is not effective until it's activated. Exactly. So it requires us doing something, right? To activate that dream.
Exactly.
You go to school. Sorry, go ahead.
I said that is so true. I mean, that's a very powerful one. It's so true.
Because look at it. Let's be practical. You, to get to university or college or even high school, your parents may register you to high school because, again, you have to go. You're at the age, right? But if you don't go to class, if you don't do nothing, you're going to fail.
Exactly. It's true.
And peradventure, you somehow get to college and you don't attend classes or nothing, you're going to fail. You're not going to get that diploma or that degree.
Exactly.
So really, you could have
you may be brilliant, but if you don't study, there's no way you're going to. Yeah.
Exactly.
You don't attend lectures. No, you're right. You're right.
Right. So you have to show up.
Yes.
Because attendance matters. You have to show up. So we're saying to you that even in your finances, if you want it to shift into a positive dimension, into a positive sense, you need to show up in it. Whether it be one, assess your spending. Maybe you're buying too much coffee in the morning and those $2 add up to a lot.
Exactly.
So you have to go through everything and find teeth comb and say, no, I'm spending too much here. I eat out too much. I need to change something. And then over time, you'll see your finances getting better. You're stuck in a job, or maybe you're not stuck. Maybe you love your job, but you
Mm,
know for real it's not meeting your obligations every month, and you know you need to make an online money online.
exactly.
So we're inviting you to watch our free webinar.
Yes.
The webinar, they're free and they're live every Tuesdays
Tuesdays and
and
Thursdays.
Thursdays. It
Mm,
was the same webinar we watched 3 years ago that transformed our lives
mm,
financially, right?
mm.
And now here we are, hoping that you will take action by watching the webinar. Yes, same content, but not really. Things have changed over the 3 years. The
Yeah.
system has gotten better, the training impeccable, so many other things happening in the background. And I can
Hmm.
tell you, you should consider watching our webinar. So,
Exactly.
Eric, tell them what they will get or
Well,
gain or learn.
I couldn't agree with you more. The webinar will introduce you to our system, our
Yes.
automated system that hundreds and thousands of people all over the globe have been using, is changing their lives. And therefore, I want to encourage you, because this will enlighten you
Take
to
this and
understand
go.
how the system works.
Take
And
this and go.
in this, I really want to encourage you that on Tuesdays at 8:30 uh, at 8 p.m. Eastern, and then 5 I think 5 is 5 p.m. PST. Um, Join us live, and watch this webinar, because it's the same webinar like Tanisha said we watched, and today we make a decision, and today we own these businesses and all that. So I want to encourage you wherever you are. Let's get involved, so that we can change our lives for the better.
Jamar, thank you so much. He says, quality business, quality time. Thanking you for having me on your quality show. Also presenting quality TV, also, and the
Yeah,
older age of to teach,
yeah.
older age of the teach. Basically saying thank you. And Jamar, we thank you so much
Thank
for
you for
watching this
participating.
webinar. This go live.
Yeah,
So I want us to start doing this conversation again, Eric. So probably every 2 Sundays we'll
yes,
be here
that would be great.
again talking about different topics and just
Yes,
inviting you to watch our webinar. And
right.
guess what, guys? We also have a free Facebook group you can join to learn more about our business. So what you
Exactly.
can do, you can register on any one of our links, um, or reach out to us. Any one of us will get you added to our free Facebook group where you can see what the business is all about in a shorter time frame, and you can decide to take the next step. So thank you
Exactly.
so much for joining us on the Let's Talk About It series. Thank you so much, Jamar, for watching. And if you have any questions, listen, we're here. But again, I want to leave you with this quote that is so necessary. It says, greatness is not for the timid and the faint of heart. Greatness is reserved for the ones who are bold enough to walk into the possibilities that God has presented to them. So thank you so much for your time and happy Sunday. See you on
Thank
the
you,
other
guys.
side. See you.
Thank you, guys. Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you. God
Take
bless you.
care. God bless you.
Yes.
Have a
Let's
wonderful
connect
day.
again. Bye.
Ciao.